All right, what's up, guys? This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, free agency has officially begun. Well, the legal tampering period began on Monday, but today is Wednesday, and as of 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, today free agency officially began. But a few big signings were made. I mean, let's just jump right off, just because this is fresh off my mind. Um, the Buffalo Bills gave Von Miller how much money? $120 million. Wow. Wow. An aging pass rusher. $120 million. Don't they have to pay Josh Allen at some point? Like next year? Did they think about that? Anyway, um, let's jump to the Philadelphia Eagles. So Philadelphia Eagles, they signed Hassan Reddick on day one of the legal tampering period, and phenomenal signing. I absolutely love it. I don't know how they're going to use him. They're probably going to use him more as a pass rusher, so that's good. I'm happy about that. That's where he excelled. With the Panthers and in his fight and in the latter half of his time with the Cardinals. I'm excited about the Hassan Reddick deal. You know what I mean? Excited about the Hassan Reddick deal. Glad that he's coming back home. Glad that he's coming back to Pennsylvania. Going to be a Philadelphia Eagle. But I was really expecting more so far. Now I'm not going crazy. I'm not getting, I'm not jumping out of my seat. I'm not ready to scream Howie Roseman's name, at the top of my lungs and say, "What are you fucking doing?" I'm not ready to do that. In fact, I'm not even close to doing that yet. And the reason why I'm not close to doing that is because, well, I think that Howie Roseman is working the phones. I think Howie Roseman is working the phones behind the scenes. And we're going to get into this, and I think it involves Deshaun Watson. I think there may be a trade involved. Look, this whole thing started with Calvin Ridley, right? The whole thing started with Calvin Ridley. So where do the Eagles go from there? Failed trade because Calvin Ridley gets suspended. Well, the Eagles got to look somewhere. They're clearly looking to add someone at the wide. We're gonna start with this. They're clearly looking to add someone at the wide receiver position alone that has the potential to be a number one. Now there are inklings and little rants and comments from Philadelphia Eagles fans where some of them will say, "Oh yeah, Devontae's not a number one. He's a glorified number two." Fuck off. That's basically what I say to that. We don't know what Devontae's gonna. Devontae's gonna be a phenomenal wide receiver. And here's the thing. We would have seen so much more. And to those people who say that Devontae Smith is a glorified number two, we didn't see what we could have seen from Devontae Smith because we didn't have the quarterback that can get him the ball. You understand what I'm saying? It's not the wide receiver that makes the quarterback. It's the quarterback that makes the wide receiver. The wide receiver doesn't make the quarterback. The quarterback makes the wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? Just ask Aaron Rodgers. By the way, there are some rumors lately that the Eagles are interested in Marquez Von Scantling or whatever his fucking name is. The only place that I saw that interest, that rumor, is on Joey Shake's podcast, and love Joey Shakes, but like I didn't see it anywhere else, so I'm gonna put half a cent into that right now. King, what's up, my man? Welcome to the chat today, my dude. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the official start of free agency. King Miro says Von Miller to the Bills and Julio Jones released. Yes. Yeah, Von Miller, man, way overpaid. They do realize that they got to pay Josh Allen next year, right? They do realize that they got to pay Josh Allen next year. Like, it's 6 years for $120 million. It's 6 years for $120 million. That's $20 million a year. That's $20 million a year. Toxic Falcons, welcome to the chat today, my dude. Oh, we're going to talk about Deshaun Watson. We are going to definitely talk about Deshaun Watson. Facts. But yeah, Von Miller signing with the Buffalo Bills for an average of $20 million a year is insane to me. And why? Because do we all remember how much money Patrick Mahomes got? We do realize that the Buffalo Bills probably have to pay Josh Allen next year. Do you guys remember how much Patrick Mahomes got? Toxic Falcons, being a Falcon fan, obviously, in regards to Deshaun Watson, says I don't want him. Yes, one of the teams that have been linked to Deshaun Watson. Honestly, the Falcons don't really have much to entice Deshaun Watson. You got no receivers right now. King says the Eagles aren't interested in Deshaun Watson. So here's the thing. We can talk about that all day long. We can talk about the Eagles not being interested, the Eagles being interested. Here's my thing. I think the Eagles are interested. I think the Eagles have been interested. I think the Eagles have been interested for a year and a half. They wouldn't have sent a PI a couple weeks ago to continue to investigate the thing. I think the Eagles are lurking in the shadows. But here's what we know about Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, is that they love to keep the news quiet. You know what I mean? They love to keep the news quiet. Speaking of news not being quiet, Baker Mayfield, the Browns, Baker pretty much already knows that he's out of Cleveland. I really don't know where Deshaun Watson's going to go, and I really don't know if the Eagles are in on it. I believe that they are because they've expressed interest before. A lot of people have said that they are lurking in the background, and so, or it could just be a thing where, here's the thing. Here's what I've seen. Here's some of the things that I've seen, which is, Deshaun has not waived the ability to come. Deshaun has not said yes to meeting the Eagles as of yet. That doesn't mean that he doesn't want to meet them, but he hasn't said yes. But it could. But here's the thing: is the Eagles still could have made an offer, and that the Houston Texans are using the Eagles as a trade barometer to get better draft cap, to get better trade value from other teams like Atlanta, like the Browns, like the Panthers, so on and so forth. King says you still want Julio DB. No, this is 2022, not 2021. Here's the thing: is I think Julio in our offense would be a little bit more productive, honestly. Actually, if you want my honest opinion, I'll speak about Julio Jones for a second. I think he'll be more productive in Nick Sirianni's offense than what they do in Tennessee. What they do in Tennessee without Derrick Henry is really bland. I got to be completely honest with you. Yeah, they have A.J. Brown and they have Derrick Henry, but it's actually revolved around the running game. We might find different ways to get Julio open because he's getting older. You got to find ways to get him open. He's not just going to get open like he used to. And we might be able to do that. And the thing is that if we add a guy like Julio, I'm not really looking for 1,200 yards. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for 1,200 yards, and I'm not looking for 12 touchdowns. If we add a guy like Julio at his age, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for leadership, veteran leadership in a young wide receiver room. That's what I'm looking for. Here's the thing, too. If they add a guy like Julio, they're definitely going to draft the wide receiver in the first round. And as of right now, without the addition of a wide receiver, because they haven't made one yet, they're definitely adding a wide receiver in the first round. And speaking of wide receivers, we've seen wide receivers in free agency go quick and have been overpaid like a motherfucker. Let me tell you. Christian Kirk? Kidding me? Christian Kirk doesn't deserve $20 million a year. On what fucking planet? Apparently this planet where Doug Peterson is the head coach. Like, what in the fucking world were they thinking? Like, yeah, their owner has a lot of money, a ton of money. But, like, Christian Kirk Christian Kirk is making as much as Devontae Adams right now. How do you guys feel about that? It's hilarious. DJ Chark. Me personally, I think DJ Chark, who, by the way, is only getting, 10 to 12 million a year with his new contract, and his new team is getting 10 to 12 million a year. And you're going to tell me that Christian Kirk is better than DJ Chark? Nah, not buying it. King Miro says, our D-line looks really scary right now with Hassan Reddick. No, it doesn't. I'm going to be straight up and I'm going to be completely honest with you. It doesn't fucking look scary. People keep saying this. It doesn't look scary. How does it look scary? How does it look scary right now? You have Fletcher Cox coming off his worst season. You have Josh Sweat, which is good. I mean, maybe the presence of Hassan Reddick is going to free up Josh Sweat, and it probably will. You got Brandon Graham coming off of an Achilles tear at 33. What? How? I fail to miss the point. When somebody says our D-line looks scary right now. You want to add Devontae Wyatt, or one of these Georgia defensive linemen, then we can talk about scariness. Then we can talk about fear, right? So, by the way, Devontae Wyatt has a pre-draft visit with the Philadelphia Eagles. Nobody's fucking talking about it except for Bleacher Report did report it, and it went by without really being noted. But it's crazy. It's crazy to me. Me personally, I think this is I don't think I remember an offseason where so many wide receivers were overpaid. Do wide receivers get overpaid every single offseason? Yeah, of course they do. But I mean, I personally wouldn't have given Mike Williams the contract that he got from the Chargers. Christian Kirk, Jacksonville Jaguars gave him, no. I mean, come on. Here's the good news, guys. Here's the good news. Allen Robinson is still out there. Yeah? Allen Robinson. So let's just break away from the bad news, all right? Allen Robinson is still out there. The Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, is still out there. Tyrann Mathieu, whatever. Everybody pronounces it different. He's still out there. I really could see the Eagles swooping in tomorrow, maybe, signing Tyrann Mathieu. You know what I'm saying? By the way, obviously a huge release that we can talk about. The Jacksonville Jaguars releasing Miles Jack. It sounded exciting and it sounded enticing and it sounded great, and got our hopes up for all of 24 hours until the other team in Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh Steelers, today signed Miles Jack to a 2-year, $16 million deal. Late in the day, actually. It was only a couple hours ago. Was I pissed? No. Was I upset? A little. But King says we don't have that much cap money left. First off, the cap is fluid, right? It's never what the cap is never what it says it is, actually. It's always changing. The cap is always changing. Like, yeah, did we read so did we have only so it's reported that we only had 18 million after we resigned Jason Kelce to a 1-year $14 million deal. Okay. So with that piece of information, it's funny because before we signed Jason Kelce to a 1-year $14 million deal, we had 30 million or we had 27 million. So Howie always makes things work. You know what I mean? Howie always makes things work. We had no money last year. Remember? We had no money last year, but then the rumor came out that the Eagles offered Juju Smith-Schuster a big contract, but he decided to go back to the Pittsburgh Steelers for 1 year. So I don't ever listen to what the sports writers say about the cap. I leave that up to Howie. Howie said 2 years ago. Howie said this 2 years ago. I don't want fans to ever worry about the cap. You could probably find that. You could probably find that interview on YouTube. But he said that. I don't ever want fans to worry about the cap. And they should never worry about the cap. Ever. Regardless of what it is. Regardless of what it says. And so I take Howie for his word. And so I don't base my cap facts off of what the sports writers are saying or what it's listed as on Sports Track or PFF or whatever the fuck. Like I just leave it up to Howie. My thing is that here's my thinking. The Eagles, we've heard the reports. We've heard the reports that the Eagles are interested in a safety. We've heard the reports that the Eagles are interested in adding, various options at wide receiver. Whether it be Christian Kirk, whether it be Allen Robinson, whether it be Marquez Van-Scantling, whether it be any of these guys. Apparently, according to Jeff Mosher, from Inside the Birds with Adam Kaplan, he came out and said, they were really close to getting Marcus Williams before, but the Ravens, edged them out. Well, it's like, here's the thing. You had that was on Monday. That was on Monday, dude. That was on the first day of legal tampering. These deals don't go through until today. So it's like, if the Eagles were close, Eagles had 48 hours. The Eagles had 48 hours to edge the Ravens, to edge out the Ravens on a deal for Marcus Williams. And it's not uncommon. And what does that lead us to? That leads us to Randy Gregory, changing his mind to leave to go play for the Broncos instead of the Cowboys. They had a deal done. Randy Gregory decided to go play for the Broncos instead. Speaking of the AFC West, who's having a phenomenal offseason? The Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers are having a phenomenal offseason, signing J.C. Jackson, getting Khalil Mack. They're in the running for Fletcher Cox. What else needs to be said? Right? What else needs to be said? But let's talk about this Deshaun Watson thing a little bit more. Okay. I want to talk about the Deshaun Watson thing a little bit more. And I also just realized that I have the wrong banner playing. There we go. All right. Deshaun Watson. What would you give up for Deshaun Watson? King says Randy Gregory said F the Cowboys. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can't, I mean, yeah. Cowboys aren't going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. They never do. They never do. I think Randy Gregory made the right decision. Broncos just traded for Russell Wilson. They've got receiving options, decent players on a defense. And then he adds himself to that defense. The Broncos are going to make some noise. Yeah? Broncos are going to make some noise. How much noise is to be determined. But they are going to make some noise. They are going to make some noise. How much would you give up for Deshaun Watson? How much would you give up for Deshaun Watson? Me personally, I would give up 3 first-round picks, but it wouldn't be all 3 from this year. And I don't think Howie would agree to that, honestly. Don't think Howie would agree to that. I think they would at least do 2. I think that they would at most do 2 first-round picks this year and a first-round pick next year. Maybe a 3rd this year and a 2 next year. And then players. King says, I'd give nothing for Deshaun because I didn't want him to go to the Panthers. That's a phenomenal question. Look, or not a question, but it's not, that's a phenomenal point. And I know where you're coming from. Look, Patrick J, and I know you guys remember Patrick J because you guys love Patrick J, has the same point. But here's the thing. What if he wasn't, so I'm going to say this, and I don't want you to jump the gun. There were no charges filed against him. What if, and so what he has left is the civil lawsuits, right? What if the civil lawsuits were found out to be a money grab and a scam? Answer that question. Then what? Then how would you feel about Deshaun Watson? And look, I'm not saying that I feel that way, and I'm not saying that I don't. I don't know. But all I'm saying is we need somebody better than Jalen Hurts. That's basically all I'm saying. That's basically all I'm saying. And could the Eagles be in on a trade? Because I know this is gonna entice you, King. So I'm gonna say it. I still think that DK is on the trade block, and I think there's conversations being had about DK. I'm not gonna lie. I think the Eagles are having conversations about other wide receivers on other teams that aren't in free agency. Because I know that because they got declined, because they got turned down They didn't get turned down because the trade fell through for Calvin Ridley. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the thing right there, is that they knew that these free agent wide receivers were going to be overpaid, but they weren't going to be worth what they were paid, right? And so they're looking at trade options. But what about the guy from New Orleans? What about Devontae Parker? You know? What about Keenan Allen? You know what I mean? The Chargers are interested in Fletcher Cox, right? And I brought this up on Philly 500 stream the other day. The Chargers are interested, reportedly, in Fletcher Cox. Would you trade Fletcher Cox for Keenan Allen and a 5th round pick? 2 veterans. Keenan Allen can still play. Fletcher Cox can still play. The reason why the Eagles get a 5th round pick back is because Chargers are going to be a playoff team, and so it's going to be more like a 6th, and it doesn't really bother them much. Would you do that? Would you trade Fletcher Cox to the Chargers for Keenan Allen and a 5th round pick? I feel like that's worth talking about. Am I off my rocker on this one? We need a veteran wide receiver. We need somebody who can teach these young guys the ropes. You know? Come on. It's worth the discussion. They have a pre-draft visit with defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt. You know, they're clearly looking at defensive tackles as well in the 1st round. King says, man, Deshaun Watson is your last hope, DB, because you really don't like Jalen. That's not true. That's not true. Let me tell you this, King. I will roll into 2022 with Jalen Hurts. I will. I just don't think he's as good as we need. There's a difference. There is a difference. Come on. Do you remember the fans? After we played the Jets? Some of the fans after we played the Jets, when Gardner Minshew took over, they were like, Gardner Minshew's the guy. Our fans are fucking crazy, bro. Our fans are fucking crazy. Don't come at me about, like, my thoughts on Jalen Hurts. I wasn't one of those guys. The one thing I did say was, I think Gardner is used to reading the defense in that way more than Jalen is, because Jalen has that extra ability with his legs. So, but, you know, come on. Our fans are fucking nuts. Let's be honest. Are you kidding me? I would, they wanted to start Gardner Minshew over. Some of them wanted to start Gardner Minshew over Jalen Hurts. What the fuck? Chris R., what's up, my dude? Welcome to the chat. Chris R. says, no way the Chargers make that trade, but if we can get Jordan Davis, we would. Be insane not to make that trade. All right, so my point is this. The 5th round pick doesn't need to be included. Would you do that for Keenan Allen? The Eagles, here's what I will say. The Eagles do not have a 4th round pick. Or no, they don't have a 7th round pick. Do they have a 4th? I don't think they have a fourth either. Let me double check something. So I think here's the thing. So like maybe it's one of those trades where it could be. So Chris R brings up a great point. So Keenan Allen had 106 catches for over 1,100 yards. Okay. And he's 31 or 32. Veteran. Still producing at a high level. At a higher level than any of the fucking Eagles receivers are producing at. That's for damn sure. You either trade Fletcher Cox and a sixth for Keenan Allen and a seventh, or you trade Fletcher Cox and you swap you swap fifths. What do you think? What do you think? They're both up there talent-wise. In fact, the match is perfect. And the reason why, okay, so there is a reason why I bring up Keenan Allen. Nick Sirianni coached Keenan Allen. Nick Sirianni coached Keenan Allen. Chris R says Keenan Allen is 29. Okay, perfect. My bad. Then even better. Keenan Allen is 29. They just signed Mike Williams to a 3-year, $16 million deal. Why not? Why not investigate the trade? They're interested in Fletcher Cox. You need a veteran wide receiver. You've got a head coach who's coached him before. Do it. He can play on the outside. He'd be the perfect complement to Devontae Smith. Do it. Chris R says, not going to lie, I'd trade Cox in a fifth all day for Keenan Allen. I love that, dude. So I brought this up on Philly 500 stream, and he didn't highlight the comment. And I listed the comment like 5-6 times. Wasn't brought up. I thought it was a beautiful fucking trade option. I still think it is. And the reason why I think it is, and the cherry on top of why I think it is because Nick Sirianni loves Keenan Allen. He loves Keenan Allen. He's coached Keenan Allen. King says Allen Robinson is also 29, so just build around Jalen like how they didn't do with Carson. Yeah, basically. My thing is I personally believe that Keenan Allen is better than Allen Robinson. But I mean, like, that's my thing. Those are two options, bro. Is like Allen Robinson's still on the market. Yeah. Allen Robinson's still on the market. And I don't think he's 29. I think he's 28. He's going to turn 29 this season. But Keenan Allen's going to cost you someone who you're already willing to give up. Actually, it's going to cost us a lot because trading Fletcher Cox is going to be difficult. But again, like I would like Keenan Allen. I don't know. I trust Keenan Allen more than I trust Allen Robinson. King says I give my heart and the 19 for first round pick for DK Metcalf. So guys, I really believe this. Like, I think you can put this in stone almost. Howie is going to take another wide receiver in the first round. He's going to take another wide receiver in the first round. Like, I think it's like an 80%, maybe 85. I mean, like, honestly, like, it's like not even kidding. That's what the reports are indicating. That's what their behavior at the combine was indicating. And personally, if they're in love with Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson and one of those guys fall, oh my god. Somebody, I feel like the Giants are going to take Drake London. I have a feeling that the Giants are going to take Drake London, and it's going to be hilarious because I think the guy's going to be a bust. But that might not be the popular opinion, but I think he's going to be a bust. King says he better get Burks or Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave. So here's the only thing that I worry about Burks, and I was loving on Burks hard before the combine. Pause. Just kidding. Is he's a 6'3", 220-pound wide receiver who had a 33-inch vertical? That worries me, bro. That worries me. Like, I'm not worried about his 40 time because he's 220 pounds running a 4.5. I'm not worried about that. Like, that's good for 220 pounds. You know what I'm saying? But like, Chris Olave is 6'1" or 6'2". Garrett Wilson is around the same height. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. So like, my thing is this is like, I worry about that vertical. Like, verticals, like 40-yard times don't really become a worry for wide receivers unless they hit that 4.6 mark. Like, that's a worry. That's a worry. But verticals are important, bro. Especially if you're 6'3". Especially if you're 6'3". Like, come on. Like, why was Jalen Reagor a first round pick? His combine measurements and his combine performance was off the fucking charts. He had a 43-inch vertical or something like that. It's insane. That's insane. I worry about that. But I'll tell you this. Look, the Ohio State wide receivers put on a show. And if Howie drafts Treylon Burks over Chris Olave or let's say Garrett Wilson, we can consider that another failed draft attempt. Because Treylon Burks is not better than those guys. Seriously. Chris R says, to me, Garrett Wilson looks like a better version of CeeDee Lamb. You know, I was telling my buddy, I was like, those Ohio State wide receivers are phenomenal route runners. Like, just as good as Devontae. And he was like, there's no way they're as good as Devontae. I was like, bro, go check their tape. If one of those Ohio State wide receivers are on the fucking board at 15 or 16, doesn't matter. You got back-to-back picks. Take them. That's BPA, bro. That's BPA. Best player available. BPA. Best player available. Take Garrett Wilson. Take Chris Olave. And here's the thing. There's a chance that Devontae White is still going to be on the board. Jordan Davis might still be on the board. David Ajabo might still be on the board. Jermaine Johnson might still be on the board. Devin Lloyd, N'Kobe Dean. You want to 15, get your guy. 16, get your guy. That's the beautiful thing about having back-to-back picks. I don't have to worry about somebody else jumping you. But the Saints need a wide receiver, so they'll probably draft a wide receiver. I also like Jameson Williams, but if not, those guys, I like Mechie and Watson in the second round. So here's the thing. And Chris R., it's a beautiful point that you just brought up. I would not rule out, because we've seen how we do this before. If Jameson Williams lasts, and this is regardless of whether the Eagles take a wide receiver in the first round or not, I would not put it past Howie to take another one in the second round, and that man being Jameson Williams. We've seen them take injured players in the second round before. Sidney Jones, Landon Dickerson last year. Jameson Williams could be that guy. And that's why I think, if Howie's doing trades, if Howie's on the phones doing trades, and we've always heard this every single offseason, like Howie protects his second round picks. Like, he loves his second round picks. That could be a reason why that's halting some trades and we're not hearing a lot of shit. Honestly. King Miro says they're saying Jordan Davis will go to the Cowboys. Who's they? Jordan Davis isn't going to last that long. Facts. Chris R says that I'm a little worried that we didn't sign a safety, so we may have to pick up Sine, Hill, or Brisker. Well, technically, this is the first official day of free agency, Chris, and I'm a little worried too. We need two safeties. I like and to comment on the rest of your comment there is, I think Sine is a second round pick. Brisker is late first to early second. I wouldn't mind taking Brisker at 19, I guess. I wouldn't mind taking Brisker at 19. I do think it would be a little bit of a reach, but I wouldn't mind it. But also, with that said, Tyrann Mathieu is still on the fucking market. He's still on the market. So, I'm not gonna say anything about the safety position. Well, I'm not gonna say the Eagles haven't done anything yet, or I'm not gonna be like. So right now, I'm about 40% worried. I'm not gonna be 80% worried until Tyrann Mathieu gets signed. And Marcus May hasn't been signed, right? King says, I do like Kobe Bryant from Cincinnati. Maybe we can pick him up in the second round. I think that's a little early for Kobe Bryant. I think he's a good third round option, honestly. But I like him too. Guys, honestly, what I'm looking at is this is what I'm looking at is, if we were to keep all of our picks right now, let's just say this, and Jordan Davis is off the board, Derek Stingley's off the board, Sauce Gardner's off the board, blah 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 blah. But guys like Jermaine Johnson are still on the board, and guys like Chris Olave are still on the board. I'm taking Jermaine Johnson at 15, and at 16, I'm going to take Chris Olave. I'm just going to get it over and done with. Reason why? Saints are next. They need a wide receiver. Get that done. At 19, I think Kaiir Elam will still be there. So I'm going to take Kaiir Elam. And then in the second round, I'm going to hope that Christian Harris is still there. He probably won't be at a phenomenal combine. But if he's not, Leo Chanel might be there. Nick Bonito might be there. You know what I'm saying? So but I would take or Chad Moma might be there. So I would take Chad Moma, or I would take Leo Chanel in the second round. Third round, boom. That's when I pounce on a safety. And we're talking about Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph, ball hawk, has a 6'8" wingspan. Chris R says, I don't want to be forced to draft the safety. They went to the Saints. So, guys, okay. Is that recent? Because I didn't see that. So, guys, I was thinking about this earlier. So, there is obviously the Bears, right? They need picks. I feel like the Bears always need something that other teams can offer them. What if we made a play for Eddie Jackson? Eddie Jackson? Anybody? The Eagles have to be working on something. You want to know why I think the Eagles are working on something? I'll tell you why. Because when Howie was at the combine, he expressed that he was upset about the fact that the Giants were able to hire away the one dude. But he also expressed we can't focus on that. But he also expressed that we can't hire anybody to replace because we're so focused on being aggressive, getting and moving forward with this free agency and shit like that. I have no doubt in my mind that Howie is working those phones like a badass right now. No doubt in my mind. He has to be. Honestly. I don't want us to be forced to draft a safety. Yeah, I don't want to be forced to draft a safety either. I want us to be able to be in a position where we can take BPA. Yeah, best player available. But I don't know. For me, I don't think Jaquan Brisker is gonna go as early as some of the mock drafts think. I think he'll be available at 51. Personally, is it 51 or 50? 51 for the Eagles? Yeah, 51. I think he'll be available at 51. So, you know, but this all leads us back to the fucking Deshaun Watson shit. Yeah, it's like we don't know if we don't like the conversation is going to completely change if the Eagles somehow come away with Deshaun. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. We'll see. Here's what I do know, and here's what I will argue to the end of the earth. The Eagles always had interest in either Deshaun or Russell Wilson. They reportedly made an offer for Russell Wilson. They have reportedly had interest in Deshaun. They didn't get Russell Wilson. So why, if they only have one guy left, why wouldn't they fucking be doing everything they possibly can to try and get that one guy left? The Eagles, who have more capital than anyone else in the league. It's not hard. It's not hard to fathom in your brain. Honestly, the Eagles could be the benchmark for the trade, but the Eagles could also be the ones holding the fucking trade up. They could also be the ones holding the trade up. Chris R says, my issue is I'd like to pick up any of the following three with our first 4 picks. Davis, an edge, a cornerback, a linebacker, or a wide receiver. If we don't sign a safety, we are forced to pick up a safety with one of those picks. I honestly think the Honey Badger is coming to Philadelphia. I really do. The fact that he's not signed yet just reeks of Philadelphia, just reeks of the Eagles. It really does. The fact that he's not signed yet just reeks that the Eagles have something to do with it. It really does. I think the Honey Badger is going to come to Philadelphia, and in fact, I'm surprised that we haven't heard anything from Darius Slay. Honestly, Darius always has something to say, doesn't he? Darius Slay always has something to say. D. Slay should be recruiting the Honey Badger. But we honestly need 2. We need 2 safeties. So even if they sign the Honey Badger, we'll still need another one. Tyrann Mathieu. King says, who is the Honey Badger? Tyrann Mathieu. Bruh. But I'm excited for Hassan Reddick. I'm not as excited as Philly 500 was, but it's a piece to the puzzle. It's not the end all be all. It's a piece to the puzzle. We don't know what Brandon Graham is going to do coming back from his Achilles injury. So technically I would like 2 more guys on the defensive line. I would like another defensive tackle, and I would like another edge rusher. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And I'm sure the Eagles would too. King says, oh, I just know him as Tyrann. Yeah, that was his nickname. That was his nickname in college. Honey Badger. Chris R says, yeah, I was sure Marcus Williams was coming here, so that sucks he isn't, and the Ravens are picking right before us. I bet they take a guy we want them to. Who gives a shit what the Ravens are doing? They always lose in the first round anyway. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a flamingo? Who gives a flamingo? What do you guys think about Tom Brady coming back? Tom Brady coming back, being the big dog. Tom Brady, I know why Tom Brady came back. He was like, man, Russell Wilson just got traded from the NFC to the AFC. Damn. I'm going to capitalize on the lack of quarterbacks in the NFC. That's exactly what Tom Brady was thinking. That is exactly what Tom Brady was thinking. And yeah, pretty much. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you joining in. We're about at an hour, but this is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles. Please like and subscribe. Hit the like button. And hit the like button again. And hit it again. And hit it again. And hit it again. I know that if you already hit it once, it only counts as one time, but you know, makes me feel good. But hey, I appreciate you guys joining, and it was great talking, and we'll be back on tomorrow. I gotta be completely honest with you. I'm gonna give you my opinion just in the stream is I think Deshaun Watson should be a Philadelphia Eagle. Innocent until proven guilty. And he would take us to the next level. And yeah, that's my 2 cents. Hopefully the Philadelphia Eagles can also add the Honey Badger within the next 24 hours. One love, stay safe, stay healthy. This is DB Talking Now, DB Talking Birds, DB Talking Philadelphia Eagles, DB Talking Now podcast. Have a beautiful night, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and go Birds, baby.